Well, there were a lot of habits that were adopted during the pandemic that persisted after the pandemic subsided. And federal data shows alcohol consumption rose dramatically during the COVID-19 pandemic as Americans struggled to cope with stress and isolation.
Yeah, now we're seeing the cost of all that consumption. The number of alcohol-related deaths has really surged. Mississippi seeing the largest jump with a 159% increase between 2018 and 2021. You see also Delaware deaths due to alcohol rose by 73%.
Joining us now is George Koob. He's the director of the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism. Thank you for being here with us. So, talk to us about some of the reasons that we saw such a sharp increase in alcohol consumption during the pandemic. I imagine that some of it was something to do, but we've continued to see people have these problems or have these habits now.
Thank you for having me on in this discussion. You know, as we've seen with other large-scale crises like the 9/11, Hurricane Katrina, you know, some people drank more alcohol during the pandemic and as the pandemic unfolded. And we attribute this to individuals, you know, using alcohol to cope with stress. And so people who were more likely to increase their alcohol use during the pandemic were those with a history of alcohol use disorder, alcohol problems, and history of anxiety or depression, or also were struggling with coping with the stressors of the pandemic, which could be everything, as you know well, from job losses to job concerns to being infected concerns to isolation. So all of these things, I think, have contributed to this significant increase, and I might add to a dramatic increase in the harmful effects associated with alcohol.
Which demographics might be most at risk or suffering right now? Because it's remarkable. You mentioned deaths. We talk about Delaware. It's up 73%. But we're mostly out of the pandemic and out of the kind of isolation and stressful, anxiety-inducing moments that we all had to bear through. And Gen Z is generally drinking less than other generations. So which groups are really being hit by this?
Well, you're exactly right. The younger people are drinking less, and that's one of the good things that seems to be happening. And that steady decline in underage drinking has continued even through the pandemic. But it's past underage drinking when you get between the ages of 21 and older, and even particularly older adults. We're seeing pretty dramatic increases in drinking. And what's really poignant is that what we've been seeing over the last 20 to 30 years is that women are catching up with men in drinking. And actually in college-age populations now, for the first time, we've seen that women are actually binge drinking more than men and drinking more in general than men for the first time in history. So there's a narrowing of that gender gap that's been occurring now for 20, 30 years, and that also has continued during the pandemic.
Director Koob, alcoholism usually kills people in sort of a longer time frame, or very often with a long time frame. If people still feel stressed, still have these habits, continue to overdrink, I'm wondering if you're concerned about this continuing to lead to more deaths in the future that stem from this period in time. And I'm hoping that for anybody who's out there listening who feels like maybe they do have a problem, that are struggling from the disease of alcoholism, what are the suggestions that you give them right now as a lifeline?
Well, first of all, you know, alcohol misuse leads to more alcohol misuse. And so when you start passing that threshold where you're drinking to cope with stress, you end up ultimately trying to fix the problem with something that makes the problem worse. And so alcohol, yes, is an anti-stressor when it's taken acutely for about an hour or two on the rising phase of the blood alcohol curve in your bloodstream. But then that wears off and the demons come back with a vengeance. And so you end up drinking to fix the problem that that drinking has caused. And so when you reach that point, you know, some of the early signs are problems with interactions with fellow human beings, social interactions, problems with work, being on time. Those are some of the early signs. And the recommendation we have is that there is a website that's very popular that we put out. You can find it by just typing in NIAAA. It's called Rethinking Drinking. And this website will help you evaluate your relationship with alcohol. And one of the things I like to tell people is if you stop drinking for a given period of time and you feel better when you're not drinking, then your body's trying to tell you something. So listen to your body.
All right, George Koob, thank you.